during the press conference, you mentioned the responsibility of France, of the government. How is the French government responsible of what's happening in Gaza? How would you explain that?
Yeah, the French government of Emmanuel Macron is speaking with two mouths. With one, it speaks about Palestinian freedoms, it speaks about Palestinian statehood, it speaks about looking for solutions to the problem, the crisis, the genocide, the Palestinian suffering. With the other, as the report that we've released today shows, France is systematically complicit in that suffering. Whether it's maritime ports or the Charles de Gaulle airports, this report documents month by month over the past 600 days and to the present, the traffic and export of military and other munitions to Israel from France. Some of these we know and can confirm that these are not simply defensive weapons, but are being used offensively against the people of Palestine. That is, for example, the case with these F-35 parts, which have been well documented as the primary vehicle through which Israel has bombed, maimed, killed, and destroyed civilian infrastructure. And so what we're here to do today is not to provide the full picture of French complicity. It's precisely the opposite. It's to use the little data that we can collect through looking at Israeli import and tax authority data, through tracking flights, to show how little we know about the scale and the scope and the speed of French military cooperation and commercial military export to Israel. And so there's many different steps that need to be taken, from a parliamentary investigation to understand and pursue greater transparency for this course of that complicity, all the way to working with the trade unions of this country, who are endangered by the authorization of this government to pass lethal, highly lethal weapons through its airports and through its maritime ports, to find a solution that protects workers and that protects international humanitarian law from the hypocrisy of the government of Emmanuel Macron.
Earlier you also mentioned verified usage on the ground of Gaza of French components. How do you verify that?
So these are not all French components. So a lot of the work that we've done to document French complicity in this genocide involves the transshipment of weapons that are traveling from the United States on commercial boats and companies like Maersk and Zim, or through military cargo flights that are passing through, transshipped through Charles de Gaulle, Challenge and other airlines, that are well documented. We know where these weapons are traveling when they get to Israeli ports. Not that these are French weapons themselves. That's another major question about French military engagement, about weapons being produced in this country and directly shipped to Israel in a one-to-one basis. But we know that the weapons being shipped from many of these ports in the United States, in Maryland and New Jersey, have direct destination through satellite imagery, we can confirm, have direct destination in the occupied territories as well as in Gaza, in the offensive of the Israeli state into the occupation and genocide of the Palestinians.
Yeah, but then the French government could respond by saying we have trade agreements with these countries.
Totally, yeah. But France is also a signatory of the UN Arms Trade Treaty. And of course part of its genocide convention at the International Court of Justice. Both of these important aspects of international humanitarian law prevent France from participating in the traffic of lethal weapons that will eventually be used on civilians or in the course of a genocide, in the case of the Genocide Convention. France is bound to international law to respect these restrictions and not participate in these transshipments, but also bound by the word of its president, bound by the word of its executive to be an ally, to be a friend, to be part of the solution, rather than complicit in the most horrific crimes against humanity we've seen in the 21st century.